Galvin, and me, I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy came
And here
home
he is, ladies and gentlemen.
every day from there.
Mr. Gerald Springer.
Oh,
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Actually, Gerald is right. It's Gerald Norman Springer.
Yep.
But there are two reasons I don't stay with Gerald. The first one is you know, how would the show be if people are just chanting Gerald, Gerald, Gerald?
It has a different ring to it, doesn't it?
It does have a different ring. And the serious answer, and this is absolutely the truth. My parents never would have named me Gerald if they knew that the nickname for Gerald was Jerry, because you know, we had, on a serious note, we had lost our family in the Holocaust, and then my parents got to England. The German bombers, the Nazi bombers, were called Jerrys.
Wow.
So I would never, I mean, they never called. That's why anybody who knows me growing up through high school as a kid, I was always Gerald. So if someone calls the office and they ask for Gerald, you know, Jenna, my assistant will come in and say
It's
that
serious.
it must be a childhood friend.
Yeah, and
Or my sister. My sister calls me Gerald. Well, my sister calls me other things too.
Right.
Yeah, you.
is it not true that when you came to Cincinnati and decided to enter politics, that
Yes.
the political handlers
Yes.
said, we ain't having none of this Gerald. It has to be Jerry,
Oh.
right?
Is that true?
No.
Isn't that true?
No.
That's not true?
No. It's a great story.
Are you just making stuff up now, Gene? Just for fun?
Hey,
Yeah.
let's get something out of the way early.
Okay.
Yes.
And Megan, you're the one who has said repeatedly,
Right.
because I'm getting a lot of pushback from corporate now.
Now
You know
that
what
we
I'm
have
saying?
this corporate entity
I'm
behind
corporate.
us.
Pushback
Right,
from
right.
corporate.
Who's corporate? It's you
You
and
know
me.
who? No, you know who corporate is, and they're going to be unnamed tonight because
Oh.
they're pushing back hard
Oh, Western.
about, and these are not their words, but about the lame ass joke that you tell week after week after week.
Oh, no, they do not.
No.
Yeah, actually,
They,
yeah.
they
No.
really complain.
Oh, heavily.
I got phone calls.
And Megan is right that we should blame it on the audience.
I do.
Because you've pointed out that if no one in the audience laughs,
Then we wouldn't
he
do
won't
it.
tell
That's
the
his
joke.
only, yeah, that's
It's not.
He
his
feeds
only
off the
reaction.
audience.
Yeah. The
So
only-
I can't tell that same joke again?
I want you to tell it, and I'm going to ask
not-
this audience. I beseech you, not one person
I
laugh.
s- I mean, I
swear
will
to
come out
God,
there.
not one person making
Well, wait,
audible.
what if it's legitimately funny?
It's
not,
Jerry
though.
because
We
they
know
all
it's
heard
not.
it.
Deliver it.
I went back and did the research. You've done that joke on 43 episodes of 76
I have to
episodes.
work on my timing.
You ain't got
I
much
will-
time left for
We'll
crying
get
out
back
loud.
to that in a second. But oh, there's that older gentleman coming in, the one with it.
I see him.
Yeah,
hate you.
and he was standing outside just before I got in here. And,
Audience,
it's
this
the
is
old-
on you.
No, this is the. How do you do, sir? Yeah,
Hello.
he's the fellow
You wave
with.
back.
He's wearing his hearing aid, and he's telling me this is the finest hearing aid money can buy. I said, yeah. What kind is it? He said 4 o'clock. They can't restrain themselves.
We will never get rid of that joke.
No,
As long
it keeps getting.
I have to
a
drag my
response.
butt back to corporate and try to explain this.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God.
You need a handler. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
and last week when I was down in Sarasota, I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
no, there was a lawyers' convention down there. The ABA was meeting there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and they were out. You know, we were out in the Gulf, and well, scary. There was a shark sighting.
Really?
Yeah,
There have been a lot of
But
these.
none of the lawyers got out of the Gulf because they don't get bitten by sharks. Professional courtesy.
Jerry, I have to tell you, it's
I'm
new
judging
material.
every-
Megan, give him, it's new material.
I was looking up some.
You know what,
lawyer
Gene? I'm going
jokes.
to blame this just as much on you, sir. This
Not
is
me.
just as much your fault. Absolutely it is.
Not me.
Your cousin jokes, the brother joke. It's just been going on for too long.
You know my brother Jerry.
I do. I do know your brother, Jerry.
Now, in
But-
my family, he's known as the least smart one of the three of us.
That can't be.
No, I'm the smartest. Jim, the scientist, comes in second. My brother has an Audi.
He has an
He
Audi.
drove the wheels
I'm
off
an
of
Indy.
it.
Oh,
he drove,
not-
no,
yeah.
different. He drove the wheels off of it. Megan, 250,000 miles he put on this car. So he puts it on Craigslist because he wants to sell it. So he puts it on Craigslist. He doesn't get any calls, no texts, no emails, nothing. He calls me up and he says, I got to sell this car. It has 250,000 miles. I said, look, I'm not telling you I know this for sure, but a friend of mine, a friend of Catfish's actually, knows a guy.
Oh, so now he's bringing in other people.
You take the car out to this guy, according to Catfish. He puts it up on some jacks and he gives it back to you, and there are 50,000 miles on it. I don't know what he does. I'm not saying. So my brother gives the car over to this guy, gets the car back. I see my brother about a month later, and I said, why are you still driving that Audi? He says, are you kidding? It only has 50,000 miles. I'm not going to sell this car.
I don't get it.
Hey, you mentioned lawyering.
He didn't say he was the funny one in the family. He said he was the smart one in the family.
You mentioned lawyering.
Yes.
What is the toughest, biggest case you ever had as a practicing attorney? Wasn't there a guy back in the day who had committed some capital crime or something?
Yeah, there was one murder case.
All right, don't mention his
really?
name, but I mean, you were a young attorney. We got to read the rundown, Jerry. I send these out.
It's looking at you like I've
He needs
never
to do a
heard-
minute of show prep here. Sorry.
We're very sorry.
No,
Welcome,
tell us.
sir.
that was-
Welcome.
Yeah.
No names, but like, how'd you feel about that, and how'd you do on defending it? Tell us that story.
Well, we got it reduced.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we got it reduced.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to go into the details of the thing. The only point I would make is all the jobs you have, let's say if you are a lawyer, I guess it would be the same thing if you were a doctor dealing with life and death surgery or whatever. But when you're a lawyer and you have a capital case, talk about being totally consumed and, not sleeping at night, and you're scared to death because this is real. This isn't like what, if I have a bad show, big deal. Most of them are. So, we come back tomorrow and I tell some more wonderful jokes. But, but when you're defending someone in court for something like that, it's, and I remember that was the only time I was really scared going to court every day or preparing for it. What haven't I thought about? What could possibly happen? I don't want to screw it up. You don't want a mistrial. You don't, and so anyway.
And you were a young attorney when you did that.
Yeah, I used to be young. Yeah. In fact, when I was born, they didn't yet have courts.
What did they have, Jerry?
A big arenas. And it was, they're bringing a few lions. And
A little less
and you
formal.
have to run the gauntlet. Hey, did you see this? This is someone at work today. Seriously, handed me this. Dump the Trump name from our building. This is true. This isn't a joke. There's people that live. I think the Trump Palace, the Trump Place, is in New York. I think so.
Okay.
Someone will correct me if I'm not. But anyway, and what he does is he doesn't own the buildings. He leases out, or he rents out the name that you pay him a certain amount of money, and you could put Trump on the building. And the residents of the building signed a petition saying that the Trump name be taken down because it's lessening the value of their property, plus all the protesters, plus they say here, please join and support residents who are embarrassed to be living in buildings with the name Trump Place blazoned in front.
Wow.
We believe that Trump's appalling treatment of women, his history of racism, his attacks on immigrants, his mockery of the disabled, his tax avoidance, his outright lying, all are antithetical to the values we and our families believe in, on and on. But they are getting lots of names, and there's a kickback. I mean, there's a
Pushback?
A pushback,
Yeah.
thank you. There's a pushback to, he's going to pay a price in this election. I mean, I don't think he's got a prayer anymore of winning. And if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong and then admit it. But I don't think he has a prayer of winning. But it's not just, well, the election's over, let bygones be bygones. One, he's caused damage to the country. But beyond that, the Trump name is, people don't want to play at his golf course anymore. They don't want to be in his property anymore. Yeah. He's going to pay a price for this because he's become the symbol of some right-wing and I'm not saying conservative, because that's unfair to conservatives. The conservative is a legitimate point of view. It's not one that I agree with, but it's a legitimate point of view about how government should operate. But some of his views aren't even conservative. It's just downright bigotry. And he's going to pay a price for that, because he's become the symbol for that. He's given cover to the bigotry in our country. And so...
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I'm not unhappy about it.
Hey, by the way, people have asked, how do you do Facebook Live? And there are some people watching Facebook Live.
Hi,
Wave to the
Facebook
camera
Live.
right there.
Hi, Amy.
And the answer is, because I get these emails, well, do you have like all these cameras and all this gear? No, it's actually, and this is true, you know this because you do the setup.
Yeah.
Jerry Springer's cell phone. It's an
Yes.
iPhone.
Yep.
And they put it in a tripod over there, and that's how it's done. That's really
The magic
low
of,
tech.
Yep.
That is.
Super easy.
Well,
Of course, he doesn't know how to log on. He
Does
doesn't
not
know
know
his
how to
password.
log on.
He
No.
doesn't have a Facebook.
No, the phone is taken. No,
I don't have
true.
Facebook.
So if you'll
We-
notice from the
we use
website,
yours.
it's from coming
And then
from my
last-
Facebook page because he doesn't have one.
Yeah, it's coming from your Facebook page, and then when we left last week, you didn't take it off. So
Which
for
explains a
all
few
week-
of the posts that were posted for me.
Yeah,
Thank
there
you,
you
sir.
go, Megan. Yeah.
You make that mistake once.
And by the way, social media, Jerry's Twitter account is blowing up. Because we
you
started
were
out
on
very show.
BuzzFeed. Your
Yeah,
tweet after
that's the point.
It was so cool. Yeah, I had people like blowing me up because Jerry went
Blowing
big.
you up?
Yeah, blowing up my phone, telling me that you
Oh,
were
oh.
on Buzz. That's oh my god.
I thought it was
Yeah,
something.
see,
I forgot. It's my.
Forgot who
So
you're dealing
this
with.
is normal nomenclature. And blowing up means someone's calling me a lot.
Oh, okay. I call it just annoying. You call it blowing up.
You call it Billy Bush.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Hey, what you should do is anybody
Yeah, but so-
listening,
go ahead.
they should become a follower of Jerry's on Twitter.
Yep.
That's what they should do. And if you're hearing and you're not
Gene,
on our
are you on Twitter?
Facebook page,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're over
Are you?
80,000 now. We went up from 30 to 80 in no time.
Yeah, and that's, we started out pretty low, and he's at 80,
Yeah.
80,000, and that's a great thing. Speaking of Twitter and Facebook, I know that you're a big Yankee fan, and sorry that they kind of suck this year. So you picked up
How
on
is that a
the Cubs
segue?
because you live in the Chicago
Well,
area, and you went.
As a Yankee fan, it's sad that there won't be a World Series this year.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the teams, they play among
They play,
themselves.
yeah,
Why don't you all go play among yourselves,
Yeah.
see if you can win some games.
Right.
No, I took Richard.
And Richard's your
my
grandson.
And his other grandparents are sitting in the audience
Yep.
here.
Hello to the Yankins in the
yeah,
audience and their
exactly.
friends
The
from Columbus,
Yankins?
Ohio.
There you go.
Yeah.
But Saturday, we took Richard and his parents, Katie and Adam, took them to the Cubs game.
That
The
had
first
to have been
game.
fun, Jerry.
Oh, it was great. This was
That's
because
so
when
cool.
people hear this, it could be a week later. This was the first game of the championship series, and that was the game that the Cubs won in the bottom of the eighth with a grand slam home run. I mean, it
Yep.
was a totally exciting game. And, we were sitting behind the Cubs dugout. Oh, I'm sorry, Gene, you don't get to sit there.
No, I've never sat behind any but dugout. Even in Knothole,
Yeah.
I didn't get to sit.
Yeah, do you get tired with your standing room tickets? I mean, is it hard to?
If you
stand-
do it
You're
enough, you
such a
get
little-
he's an idiot. It's a prick.
He really is.
No,
That's
but
what I was like
no,
as a
but
kid
you
in
get.
class.
I know.
Oh,
I
I was exactly like
I
that in
bet.
school.
I bet you were. Oh.
Wearing
Yeah.
my glasses, always getting the homework done.
Hey, teacher, you forgot we were going to have a quiz today.
I was totally you.
Would be that one.
You forgot
I know,
to collect
but-
the
But
homework.
yeah, we took
Yeah.
him to the Cubs game, and it was great. It
I
was
had-
phenomenal.
And
It really was.
Richard, I know this from knowing you and Mickey. He is, all kidding aside, I tell you this, Jerry, and I'm not saying Jerry agrees with this, but this kid is going to be a serious athlete. And he's, what, 7 years old?
He
Going
just
on
turned.
eight?
He just turned 8.
And
he's-
you just
he's
look
really-
you look at him, his size. He's probably in the
Tall and
99th
lanky.
percentile
He is,
on height.
99th
Is that what it is, 99?
Yeah, we just found out today.
He's a good-looking kid. He's got.
Yeah,
He's in the-
smart kid, does
He's
well
in
in
the
school.
second grade, and he's already 4 feet 9 inches tall.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's unbelievable.
I know it is.
That's 3 inches shorter than his mom.
Yeah.
And
But-
he's in the second grade. He's going to be huge.
Here's the other element, because that would not be enough to tell you this.
No, but
this
he's
kid
very
plays hockey, basketball, soccer. When he visits you and Mickey in Florida, he's out dragging you out of bed and 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning shooting baskets.
Yeah.
This kid is going to be a serious athlete. I really do
He's a good
believe
kid,
that.
Yeah, Jerry will share, like, he'll show some videos from time to time of Richard just shooting baskets. I mean, like, really and truly, this kid's gifted.
Yeah,
Right.
he
And
is.
he, not for
But
you,
here,
Jer.
but this is the
No,
injustice.
he did not get it from me.
This is the injustice. He will get, I predict this, he will get an athletic scholarship for college. Mark it down. He's 8 years old. I know, that's a question of whether it's, let's say it's basketball. Is it North Carolina? Is it Akron? You know, the MAC, the ACC, or somewhere in between. He will get a 4-year ride playing something. And by the way, it could be hockey, because there aren't many kids that go into hockey. And if he's any good
Well,
at
the
hockey,
cost
he's going
of
to get
college today, I mean, good Lord, 4 years in college, you know, that's like a week of my salary.
That's
That's
what,
unbelievable.
and this,
I
and,
just threw up in my
and
mouth.
Megan,
We're going to need that. We're
Megan,
gonna
that's
need-
the point.
We're going to need that scholarship.
Megan, how many, that's the point. How many times do we go out for dinner after the podcast?
Yep.
And if they see Jerry, they'll come over, especially on the night that he gets the check, because we alternate.
Yep.
And then they'll come over and say, well, your check's been picked up by that
that-
person.
yeah.
I'm like, what the, WTF? I need the money.
Yeah.
I
You and
need
me
to get
both, brother.
comped.
He's the one getting off easy.
My grandkid, good athlete too, Michael, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he is. Yes.
Richard could get a free ride while Michael and his mom and dad, my son and daughter-in-law, have to come up with the dough.
Well, why don't
And
we
Jerry
have a-
Springer's getting a 4-year ride
Jerry
for his
Springer's
I
grandkid.
got an
grandkid's getting a
idea.
4-year ride,
Why
yeah.
don't next week we have a telethon for you?
Oh, we
I
could
like
do
it.
GoFundMe.
I like
A
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe for Gene, just in general.
I like it. I like it. Hey, the religious right,
Yes.
aren't they something?
Yeah. Yes.
How about that?
The transition is unbelievable.
I mean, this man with his gift of segue is truly.
No, actually, Gene and I.
It's on the rundown. It's
That's right
Megan.
there. I see.
Anyway,
Actually, that part wasn't on the rundown, but
actually
we
it
did.
wasn't. We
What?
switched it up.
Yeah, we switched it. 'Cause, Gene picks me up on the way here every week, and
Jerry doesn't know how to drive.
we just talk
Yeah.
about something. And what we were talking about, and what I've been thinking about, is the role of the Christian right in this election. And let me start off by saying, flat out, I have tremendous respect for people that are religious, that take it very seriously, that see that there's something bigger in life than yourself, a greater power, etc. And even though I'm of the Jewish faith, people of the Christian faith and who are fundamentalists, whatever, you know, not to be silly, but God bless you. That's great, and that's great, and I totally respect that. And I even understand if your values are, your religious values are so much a part of your life that you want that expressed in your politics. I totally get that. My questioning is, how does someone on the Christian right, and I got to tell you, there's some people in my family, extended family, that are fundamentalist Christians.
Yep.
And how does someone in the Christian right come to grips with the fact that they're supporting Donald Trump? And I mean that totally respectfully. There is no way in the world that any serious person can say that Donald Trump represents Christian moral values. He doesn't. You can be a big fan of his, and be a fan of his because, you know, you like his bravado and or whatever. That's your business. But you can't, with a straight face, tell me that he represents your religious values, certainly that of the Christian right. And yet, we have all seen interviews where people that are part of the Christian right, people that live in very Christian right neighborhoods, communities, states, they're for Trump. And you ask them, why? And you get these kind of answers. You get, well, I'm a Republican. You know, part of it is I'm just a Republican, and I can't see myself, supporting a liberal Democrat. Well, then all of a sudden, which is fine, but then you're telling me that your religious Christian values aren't the most important thing and when you make decisions in life. Or they're saying, it's just talk. He's just talking like that. That isn't right, but he's not well, no, it isn't just talk, as we now know. He's admitting to and describing how he treats women and what he's done to women. And now more women are coming out, and apparently there's some evidence that these women are telling the truth, if there was anyone that didn't believe it ahead of time. So there is evidence that this is how he treats us. Certainly this is how he treats marriage, either his own or how he doesn't respect other people's marriage. His views on sex. Again, I'm not telling you what you should believe, but if you're saying to me, I'm a Christian fundamentalist, then I'm not going to take it that seriously, your commitment to it, if you turn around and say, but I'm supporting Donald Trump. Having said all that, the hypocrisy and the inconsistency of it, I will say this. There is one possible reason that someone on the Christian right, despite all the behavior of Donald Trump, which we all admit is hardly, quote, moral, is the view of abortion. If abortion is the single most important issue in your political life, that you'll say, I'll take all his carousing about and whatever he does, that's his business, but I'm trying to save a life, and I view abortion as the taking of a life. Therefore, I'll put up with all of Donald Trump's behavior as long as we have a president who, in the Supreme Court appointments, won't pick someone that'll have a liberal on the Supreme Court that'll just sustain Roe versus Wade and a woman's right to choose. That is the only conceivable answer that I would take as honest about someone who is on the Christian right and still supporting Donald Trump. In return, though, I would say to them, if that is your conviction, and I respect it, that's your view, you could still be consistent by saying, I can't support Donald Trump for president because he doesn't represent the values that I want my child to have, and et cetera, and how I live. But I don't want a Supreme Court appointment made that is going to be pro-choice. Well, it is the Senate which has to confirm any Supreme Court appointment. So someone on the Christian right could say, well, I'll still vote Republican for the Senate because that will be the brakes that we can put on Hillary Clinton if you don't like the liberalism of Hillary Clinton, which, by the way, I love. But if someone had that other point of view, that's the way out of it. In other words, what I'm saying is there is no excuse under any theory of your religious feelings, if they are the most important thing to you, that you can support Donald Trump. Now, if they're not, look, a lot of people are atheists or agnostic, or, yeah, they have a religion, but they don't take it that seriously. It isn't the most important thing in their life. Lots of people like that. Well, fine. But if you're saying to everybody, religion is the most important value I have, and I'm trying to impose it, impose it sounds too negative, trying to influence the political environment with my religious beliefs, which you're free to do in a free society, then you have to at least be consistent and not hypocritical. And so you can't be supporting Donald Trump now under any theory, even if you're opposed to abortion. You can take that view out on the Senate. But you can't say, I believe in a moral symbol for the country, and therefore I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. And let me tell you, one other thing that I just thought of as I'm talking, is the President of the United States is a symbol. People in England or in Great Britain keep wondering, what the heck are we doing fooling around with the possibility of a Donald Trump? In America, it's a little bit different. You see, in Britain, The prime minister can be of any view because he's the lead politician. He is the leader of the majority political party or the coalition party that governs. He's a political leader. But the Queen is the head of state. The Queen is the symbol of Great Britain. In America, we don't get that division. The president is not only the political leader of the country, but he's also the representative of the country. Therefore, you could tolerate the behavior of a Donald Trump in Congress or the Senate. You may hate it, but he doesn't represent the whole country when you're a congressman or a senator. You're a legislator. And as long as he is supporting the legislation you want, you can say the other stuff is irrelevant, because in truth it is. If you're looking for a legislator to pass laws that you want, that's all you care about. You don't care what his private life is like. But when you become president of the United States, that is to let the country know and the world knows that this is the representative of the United States of America, who we are, what we represent, what we value. And that is why there's a different standard that we have to apply to Donald Trump than we would to any other person who serves in political office.
All right, Jerry. That's a good analysis. Hey, I want to bring up a duo from Kentucky, and they're called the Local Honeys. And that's Linda Jean Stokely from Woodford County, Kentucky, and Montana Hobbs from Lee County. I think it's Kentucky, correct, ladies?
Yeah.
All right. And when you hear their music, boy, you're going to hear the sound of Kentucky in it. It's wonderful. And as they come with guitar, banjo, fiddle. They're not going to play all those at the same time because there are only two of them. But they're very accomplished musicians, and we're going to ask them to do their first song. Tell us what it is, please. And, well, I think they're still tuning up here a bit. By the way, as they're still tuning up, let me mention their latest album is Little Girls Acting Like Men. You can hear them by going to their website, which is thelocalhoneys.com. And Linda Jean, welcome.
Thank you.
And Montana, how you doing?
Good, how are y'all?
All right.
Good.
So what's your first song?
It's called Cigarette Trees.
All right, let's
This
hear
is
it.
off our debut album. It's the chorus is, why not plant cigarette trees when they'd burn faster if you'd log these? Fill up them valleys and slurry them streams, but big old King Coal, don't you lose any sleep.
All right.
Let her at King Bug.
Still flip you the bird. What will we do
shut down the mines. Pray God gives you mercy to the place you should dwell. You don't burn like coal and you're sentenced to hell. Why not plant cigarette trees? They burn faster than you love these. Fill up them valleys, slurry them streams. But big old King Coal, don't you lose any sleep.
Linda Jean Stokely, Montana Hobbs, the local honeys, and I got to tell you, the Jerry Springer podcast loves coal mining songs, and that's a good one. Good for you.
Bet that ain't the first time you've heard Strip Off or Top around Jerry Springer. Huh?
There you go.
That was about coal?
Unbelievable.
He's got to listen to it again. He's waiting.
I just kept imagining, but go ahead.
You guys are a touring group, right?
Yes, sir.
And where are you headed next, by the way?
We've got a couple shows this weekend. Let's see. We've got a private event, and then we're going to Whitesburg, Kentucky. We're kind of just around the area for right now before we do go on big tours. We got some exciting news today, but we don't really want to jinx it yet. So
Okay.
So unreleased.
All right, fair enough. When you get it, pass it on to Casey Campbell, our music coordinator. We'll be happy to promote it for you, whatever it is. How'd you guys come together?
Well, we actually met each other when we were in college. We both went to Morehead State University, and we.
Yep, it's a good Kentucky university.
Thank you. It is. It's great. We both went in there for different reasons. I went in to study jazz bass, and Montana went in to study veterinarian sciences, and we ended up playing the banjo and the fiddle. And I discovered a man named Jesse Wells playing the fiddle, just playing the fire out of it. And I just said, "Will you teach me how to do that?" And I started taking lessons with him. And then Montana got interested in playing the banjo. Her grandfather was an amazing square dancer and flat footer, and nobody in her family really played music. My mom played 5-string banjo, and she was a great banjo player. But when I came along, she kind of fizzled out in that love. I guess I took up a lot of her time. And so we met there, and we started playing early American music together. We started listening to a lot of string bands, and we played in a string band together. And then we graduated as the first women to graduate from the Morehead State with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in traditional American music.
Oh,
and
nice.
We're pretty proud of that. So ever since then, we moved to Ireland for about 3 months after we graduated, and just played music and drank beer and had a good time. Then we came back and hit the ground running, and we've just been playing at really fun events.
Yeah, and I'm sure you went to Ireland and found a lot of connection between that kind of music and the kind of music you're doing.
The Irish ballads, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great story. We pride ourselves on this podcast of bringing up up-and-coming artists and roots music, and you guys are a classic example. We're so glad you came by. Would you do a second song?
Yeah. Well, this song is on our debut album, too. This is a song that I wrote, and since you guys were talking about Donald Trump, this song is a woman about that would not be his first choice. Totally would not be his first choice.
He would not grab, he would not grab things.
And he'd
keep his hands to himself.
He'd have some things to say about her. Anyway, this song's called "The Baitable Bomb," or affectionately Frida. You tell them why she was called that? They look smart. I think they'll figure it out.
The local honeys.
1, 2, 3. Well, she lived up the road just a mile or two. Kept her nose clean and the dirt off her shoes. Well, she never let on all sick she kept. Where she'd been while her husband slept. How free she knew what the people would say, but the people she knew didn't live with her play. So she worked as a lady with her own free rights, keeping the company of a man by night. Oh, Frida, don't you worry, a time will come when you don't hang your head at the deed you've done. Oh, Frida, hang on, shot and her knees are gonna help. She wished she could find work that was honest, instead of digging after dollars in a dirty man's pocket. Now her looks were gone, but she's still worth it. She'd show her man how much she's worth. She said, by God, I'll tell you yet, what a woman will do for a paycheck. Oh, pretty much more every time will come when you don't hang your head at the deeds you've done. Oh, free to hang on, just you wait for it. They'll call the house when the money hits. You'll love free when the money hits.
Yeah. The local honeys. That's good stuff, and we hope to hear you guys back here sometime. Would you take us out on?
Go to their website and,
Yeah.
and get one of these CDs of theirs.
Okay, and by the way,
Because
yes,
you can
absolutely.
Listen to this music.
This is good
I
stuff.
can't wait to.
If you go to the website, you're going to need to be very careful. It's www.thelocalhoneys.com. And
Because if you just do local honeys,
It's
you
a whole
get. I've been to that website.
yeah, you'll find some honeys,
I'm just
but it's
kidding.
a whole different thing.
Boy, good
See,
point,
you know, we're
Jerry.
trying to help
One,
you
two,
out.
1, 2.
This is where Jerry's expert. This is where he's good. Good to have him here. The
I didn't mean to
local
interrupt, but is that
honeys.
what you were going to
Yeah,
say?
that's what I was getting
I
at.
knew where you were going.
That's great. Local honeys
We try
with
to help you, Jerry.
Irene Goodnight.
It's too late.
And Jerry Springer, by the way, is going to come in on the second verse and just listen to the key.
We apologize
This
for
is
that,
great.
too.
We did a mic check, and this is the octave that Jerry Springer should sing in all the time. You'll know when we get to it. Here we go. The local honeys. Irene Goodnight.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Stop your rambling. Stop your gambling. Quit a running around late at night. Go home to your wife and your family. Sit down by the fireside bright. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams.
Jerry Springer singing like a man.
Sometimes I live in the country, and sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams.
I love you, Irene, God knows I do. I love you till the sea runs dry. And if we shall ever be parted, I'll take morphine and I'll die. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. I'll see you in my dreams.
You all come back now, you hear?